secretly recorded my wife cheating so I can blindside her with evidence in court. The camera lens caught the glint of a diamond necklace as it slipped to the floor. In the dim light of the bedroom, two silhouettes moved together, oblivious to the tiny device hidden on the shelf. My heart pounded in my chest as I watched the live feed on my phone, each second confirming my worst fears. My wife, Eva, was cheating on me. The betrayal was like a knife to the heart, but I knew I had to stay calm. I needed this evidence for court, to blindside her with undeniable proof. Today's story will keep you on the edge of your seat. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. If you're excited about this story, let us know. If you enjoyed the video, press 1. If not, press 0. Your feedback really inspires me to gather more uplifting and meaningful stories. My name is Gerald Jerome, and I never imagined my life would come to this. Eva and I had been married for 10 years, and we had two beautiful children, Mia and Lucas. Our life seemed perfect from the outside, but the cracks had been forming for a while. Eva had become distant, her once warm demeanor turning cold and indifferent. Late nights at work, unexplained absences, and secretive phone calls had become the norm. I tried to ignore it at first, convincing myself that it was just a rough patch. But when I found a strange message on her phone, my suspicions solidified. It was a simple message, sent late at night: "I can't wait to see you again." There was no name, no contact photo, just the message. I confronted Eva about it, but she brushed it off as a misunderstanding, a text from a friend. I wanted to believe her, but the doubt gnawed at me. I decided to take matters into my own hands, to find out the truth for myself. I spent weeks planning, researching the best way to gather evidence without tipping her off. I bought a small, discreet camera and installed it in our bedroom, hidden among the books on the shelf. I felt guilty, like I was violating her privacy, but I needed to know the truth. The nights that followed were sleepless, my mind racing with anxiety and suspicion. I kept an eye on the live feed, hoping against hope that I was wrong. But I wasn't. The footage from that night confirmed everything. Eva was having an affair, and the man she was with was no stranger. It was her colleague, Marcus, someone she had introduced me to at a company event. The betrayal stung even more, knowing that she had brought this man into our home, into our lives. I watched the footage over and over, each time feeling a mix of anger and sorrow. I knew I had to use this evidence to protect myself and my children. Eva had violated the sanctity of our marriage, and I couldn't let her get away with it. I contacted a lawyer, explained my situation, and showed them the footage. They agreed that it was strong evidence, enough to use in court. The day of the court hearing arrived, and I was a bundle of nerves. Eva had no idea what was coming, and I was determined to keep it that way. We sat in the courtroom, surrounded by the cold, sterile atmosphere of the legal system. Eva looked confident, her demeanor calm and composed. I felt a surge of anger, but I forced myself to stay focused. This was my moment to expose her, to reveal the truth. As the proceedings began, I presented my case. I described the growing distance between us, the late nights, and the suspicious behavior. Eva's lawyer tried to dismiss my claims, painting me as a paranoid husband grasping at straws. But then I revealed the footage. The courtroom fell silent as the video played, the undeniable evidence filling the room. Eva's face went pale, her confident facade crumbling. She looked at me with a mix of shock and anger, realizing that her secret was out. The judge watched intently, their expressions stern and unforgiving. When the video ended, there was a heavy silence, the weight of the truth hanging in the air. The court ruled in my favor, granting me primary custody of the children and a significant portion of our shared assets. Eva was devastated, her world collapsing around her. As we left the courtroom, she tried to speak to me, to explain herself, but I couldn't bear to hear her excuses. The betrayal was too deep, the wounds too fresh. In the weeks that followed, I tried to rebuild my life. Mia and Lucas were confused and hurt, struggling to understand why their mother was no longer with us. I did my best to be there for them, to provide a sense of stability and comfort. But the questions remained, lingering like dark clouds over our lives. Why had Eva done this? What had driven her to betray me so completely? One evening, as I was putting the children to bed, Mia looked up at me with tear-filled eyes. "Daddy, why did Mommy leave?" I took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "Mommy made some choices that hurt our family, Mia. But she still loves you and Lucas very much. Sometimes, grown-ups make mistakes, and it takes time to understand why." Mia nodded, her little face serious. "Will Mommy come back?" "I don't know, sweetheart," I said softly. "But no matter what happens, I'll always be here for you and Lucas. We'll get through this together." We'd love to hear your thoughts on this story. If you enjoyed the video, press 1. If not, press 0. Your feedback is my fuel to gather more inspiring and meaningful stories. Thank you. As the months passed, I tried to focus on the future, to find a way to move forward. But the questions still haunted me. What had I missed? Were there signs I had ignored, red flags I had dismissed? I replayed our conversations, our arguments, searching for clues. But the answers remained elusive. Eva and I had limited contact, only communicating when necessary for the children. She seemed regretful, but it was hard to trust anything she said. The betrayal had shattered my faith in her, leaving me wary and cautious. I found myself questioning everything, doubting my own judgment. One day, I received a letter from Eva. It was a long, heartfelt apology, filled with regret and sorrow. She explained that she had felt neglected, that our relationship had become stagnant and unfulfilling. She claimed that Marcus had made her feel alive again, but she now realized the cost of her actions. She begged for forgiveness, hoping that we could find a way to co-parent amicably. I read the letter over and over, my emotions a tangled mess. Part of me wanted to believe her, to forgive her and move on. But another part of me was filled with anger and resentment, unable to let go of the pain she had caused. I knew that forgiveness would be a long and difficult journey, one that I wasn't sure I was ready to take. As I sat in the quiet of my living room, the questions continued to swirl in my mind. What if Eva was truly sorry? What if we could find a way to heal, for the sake of our children? But what if this was just another manipulation, another way to control the narrative? I decided to talk to Eva, to see if we could find some common ground. We met at a neutral location, a small park where the children could play while we talked. Eva looked tired and worn, the stress of the past months evident on her face. We sat on a bench, watching Mia and Lucas play in the distance. "I got your letter," I began, my voice steady but guarded. "I appreciate the apology, but it doesn't erase what you did." "I know," Eva said softly, tears glistening in her eyes. "I don't expect you to forgive me right away. I just want us to find a way to co-parent, for the kids." I nodded, trying to keep my emotions in check. I want what's best for Mia and Lucas. They deserve to have both parents in their lives. But it's going to take time for me to trust you again. Eva wiped away a tear, her expression earnest. "I understand, Gerald. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right." As we talked, I could see the pain and regret in Eva's eyes. She seemed genuine, but the betrayal still lingered, a dark shadow over our conversation. We agreed to take things slowly, to focus on the children and see if we could rebuild some semblance of trust. But even as we made tentative steps toward co-parenting, the questions remained. Could I ever truly forgive Eva? Would the pain and betrayal ever fade, or would it always be a part of our lives? And what about Marcus? Was he still in the picture, or had Eva truly ended things with him? One afternoon, I decided to visit Marcus at his office. I needed answers, and I was tired of the uncertainty. When I arrived, he seemed surprised to see me but agreed to talk. We sat in his office, the tension between us palpable. "Why did you do it?" I asked, my voice filled with anger and frustration. "Why did you get involved with a married woman?" Marcus looked uncomfortable, shifting in his seat. "I didn't plan for it to happen, Gerald. It just did. Eva and I connected on a level I hadn't experienced before. But I know it was wrong, and I regret it." "Do you?" I asked, my eyes narrowing. "Do you really regret it, or are you just sorry you got caught?" He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I'm genuinely sorry, Gerald. I didn't mean to hurt you or your family. Eva and I have ended things, and I want to make amends, if possible." I stared at him, trying to gauge his sincerity. Part of me wanted to believe him, to put this whole mess behind us. But another part of me was filled with anger and resentment, unable to forgive the pain he had caused. As I left his office, I felt a mix of emotions. The answers I had sought still eluded me, leaving me with more questions than before. Was Marcus truly sorry, or was he just trying to save face? And what about Eva? Could I ever trust her again, or was our relationship beyond repair? The future remained uncertain, filled with unanswered questions and lingering doubts. But I knew I had to keep moving forward, for the sake of my children and myself. The journey ahead would be difficult, but I was determined to face it with courage and resilience. As the days turned into weeks, I focused on rebuilding my life. I spent more time with Mia and Lucas, creating new routines and finding solace in their laughter. Eva and I continued to co-parent, slowly finding a way to navigate our new reality. But the questions still lingered, haunting me in the quiet moments. What if I could never fully forgive Eva? What if the betrayal had left scars that would never heal? And what about my own future? Would I ever find love again, or was I destined to carry the weight of this betrayal forever? One evening, as I sat alone in the living room, I received a message from an old friend. It was a simple note, asking how I was doing and offering support. I felt a surge of gratitude, realizing that I wasn't alone in this journey. I had friends and family who cared about me, who would stand by me no matter what. As I replied to the message, I felt a glimmer of hope. The future was uncertain, and the questions might never fully go away. But I was ready to face whatever came next, with the support of those who loved me. The journey ahead would be filled with challenges and uncertainties, but I was determined to find my way. The questions might linger, but they wouldn't define me. I would find my own path, my own sense of peace, and embrace the possibilities of the future. The stars twinkled in the night sky, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. As I looked out at the horizon, I felt a sense of peace and determination. The road ahead would be difficult, but I was ready to face it with courage and hope. The questions would always be there, but I knew I had the strength to find my own answers. With the support of my friends and family, I would navigate the challenges and uncertainties, and find my own sense of peace and happiness. The journey was far from over, but I was ready to take the first step. And as I looked out at the night sky, I felt a sense of hope and possibility, ready to embrace whatever the future held.